Welcome to our May market update for Toronto and the Greater Toronto Area. This month we have some really interesting data that we're going to discuss. The numbers are looking really good. When we're talking about year-over-year comparison, as we all know, February was that peak of what we saw, but now we're comparing ourselves to months that have been on that decline from the previous year. So we had a little bit of a decline in March, April, and May, but we are actually just a hair away from where we were last May. Last May, we were at an average price point across the GTA of $1,210,000. Now we are just shy. We're at $1,196,000 for your average home in the GTA. So we did not think that the market would spike this quickly once again, but the lack of inventory and the buyer demand being there means that the prices are going to hike back up. It's just the way the market's going to work. It's a supply and demand issue. So today's market update is going to be a little bit more in depth than usual, maybe a couple more minutes in length, but we are going to cover Toronto, Mississauga, Brampton, Oakville, Burlington, and the Milton real estate market, and we are going to dive into specifics here. We're going to talk about the type of house, the average price point of that type of house, breaking it down and comparing it to what it's been in the past. So stay tuned, like the channel, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and if you want, I will put timestamps for your specific city so you don't have to watch the whole video if this isn't a topic that you are generally interested in across the board. So first, we're going to start off, be a little bit more broad for you. We are going to talk about the GTA as a whole. So this market update that you'll see here, provided by iPro Realty, of course, is going to show us that there was 9,012 transactions that happened last month, opposed to the year prior, where it was 7,200 transactions. So we are seeing a bump in transactions, which means buyers are feeling a lot more confident, and that is why we are seeing the market moving up instead of going back down. When I'm talking days on market, very similar. It's taking 14 days for your average home to sell right now across the board. Previous year, it was taking 12 days. So very similar. A lot of that is because everything is set up for a bidding war right now. If you're in the local GTA market, typically that means there's 5 to 7 days where you can view a property, and then they will take offers, or the seller will look at the offers that are being brought in by buyers on one specific day. Lastly here, we've got a total number of listings. You have 15,194 new listings that came on last month. That is a massive number. Comparing it to last year's number that I've got here was 18,000, which was even bigger. What that means is we're seeing transactions at a high. Obviously, comparing it year over year, we're seeing inventory coming in at a low number, still not a bad number in the 15,000 range, but lots of buyers, less inventory. We know that prices have to go up if there's not enough inventory to supply that demand for the buyers. Now that we've got that broad range, we're going to dive into specific cities. First, we are going to cover Toronto. Toronto as a whole, we already know, one of the more expensive pockets that we're going to cover today. But the average detached home in Toronto is $1,913,132. Semis, $1,398,000. Townhouses, not condo towns yet. The townhouses are $1,321,000. Condo towns, $928,000. So condo towns, keep in mind, they're going to have a maintenance fee associated with them on top of that purchase price. And a condo apartment, the average condo is costing $784,000 right now. This is going to give you a really good example of why Toronto is so difficult to get into if you're looking to purchase a home. And that's strictly just because it's going to be too expensive for an individual to purchase something. You really do need two incomes to buy a home in Toronto, and that's just the nature of the market at the moment. Secondly, we're going to hop into Mississauga. Being very close to Toronto, the prices are generally very similar. So the detached homes, you're going to see about a $300,000 difference, so 1.620. Semi-detached homes, 1,132,000. Townhouses, slightly more than the semis at 1,172,000. You're going to notice there was less transactions for townhomes, which is why I think that average price is actually above a semi, which generally semis should be more than a townhome, but there was 101 sales for semis, so a larger sample size to deal with, which is why those numbers are a little flip-flopped when we're looking at them. Condo townhouses, $868,000 for your average Mississauga, and your condo apartments at $635,000. $635,000, still a big number to get into the market in a condo, but a much more palatable start than trying to get into Toronto, for example, at $150,000 more just to get that condo. Your average condo, of course, there are cheaper and more expensive options within that condo world. Thirdly, we're going to get into Brampton. We've had several transactions in Brampton in the last couple months, and Brampton has been very busy. There's been a lot of bidding wars. There's been a lot of competition, and it has actually started to shoot those prices back up. So your detached 1.319, your semis at $1,025,000. Townhouses still up there at $952,000 average. Condo town, $746,000, and your condo apartment getting under $600,000, nice to see. $569,000 is your average condo apartment. Brampton does not have nearly as many condos as Mississauga or Toronto, so the sample size is quite a bit less, which is why those numbers are going to be what they are. Now we are going to head over into Halton. So we've got Burlington, Oakville, and Milton that we're going to cover next. We're going to start with Burlington. Burlington, the average detached, 1.461. You've got the semis at $1,001,000. Townhouses, $1,025,000. Once again, you've got a little bit of a flip-flop here because the amount of transactions, as you'll see, are lower in comparison between the semis versus those townhouses. Condo towns, $853,000, and your condo apartments, $712,000. So you're going over that Mississauga price point for a condo in Burlington. Only 86 transactions compared to the larger amount that was in Mississauga, but Burlington is definitely more of a prestigious area for people, so they're willing to spend a little bit more. Oakville is always at the top. We already know Oakville is Oakville in terms of your pricing. Your detached homes are over $2 million on your average at $2,079,000. Not a lot of us are going to be able to afford a home like that price category. However, Oakville has some beautiful, beautiful homes, and the value there is always very, very strong. 1.279 for a semi, 1.258 for a townhouse, and then a condo townhouse, we're at $943,000. Condo apartments obviously going to be higher than what Burlington offers, so just shy of $800,000 at $798,000. A lot of movement, and the surprising thing is with that average of $2 million and almost $80,000 for a detached home, there's 166 transactions at that price point. So that is a stable average for your detached home in Milton. That is a stable average for your detached home in the Oakville area. Now we're going to finish off here with Milton. Your detached, 1.373, your semi, 1.135, your townhouse, just under $1 million at $999, your condo townhouse, $740,000, and then your condo apartment, $657,000. So if you're looking to get into the market, you want a condo, Brampton would be your bare bones start price point in that $560,000 range. If you're looking to go up from there, you're going to have to take a look at Milton. You're going to have to venture out into the smaller areas to get yourself something. That being said, even though the average price point for a condo in Toronto is higher, there are a lot of good deals in Toronto at the moment. So don't rule Toronto out based on the average price point. Always inquire further on a specific unit type or building because there are some really good values out there in the current market. Now, as I was looking over a lot of this data, there's some interesting things I do want to point out before I finish up here. The average home is selling for 104.8% of asking. Last month, it was only 103%. So we are actually going further above the asking price in the last month, and that means one of two things. It either means homes are being priced even lower than they should be, and they are selling for a more reasonable value, or buyers are getting in a more competitive atmosphere. They're willing to go above and beyond what they should for price and offer bigger numbers, giving us that 104% of asking price. Secondly, last month in April, we had 11,368 new listings. That sounds like a lot, but check this out. In May, 15,194, as we've already discussed. We saw just under 4,000 new units come to market month over month compared to the previous. This is a sign that could be very interesting, and we'll have to pay attention over the next month. Sellers might possibly be getting more comfortable with the market situation, bringing their house to market. Will this mean that the prices start to taper back or stay flat? The future is going to show us what's going to happen. My guess is as good as yours. However, we already know it's a supply-demand issue. If the inventory is high, the buyers are not going to be in multiple situations as frequently. If there is no inventory and homes aren't selling as quickly, there you go. That's a recipe for more skyrocketing in these average price points. If you found this video helpful today, I went a little bit more in depth with you than I typically would because I want to give you all of that information that we do have here. Let me know in the comment section down below what area you live in, where you think the biggest increases are going to be in the next little while. And if there's something that you want in the next market update video, hit me in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.